What's up, guys? This story I'm about to tell you is something that happened when I came out of prison. It was a couple years after. It was at a point in my life where I was doing well myself financially. I was just starting my family. I had just gotten married, and I was actually, it was during the grand opening of another location for one of my businesses that this story took place. Um, we were scheduled to do a grand opening on a Friday. All right, I don't remember the exact time of the year it was, but it was a Friday that we were scheduled to do it. For some reason, a couple days prior, I started feeling like I needed to change it. And at the last minute, at the very last minute, I disregarded all the preparation and canceled it and changed it to Sunday. That's important. You'll see why later. So it was during that Sunday afternoon in this grand opening that I noticed that there was a commotion outside. So the location I was is it's like a city area. So I rented the ground floor of a building where I had a store, and above me there were apartments, an apartment building that went up. So probably about an hour or so into the grand opening, one of my friends that was there to support me came and was banging on the glass, telling me to come outside. I go outside and I see this whole crowd of people out there. And I ask him what's going on. He's like, I don't know. I just saw this shit going on, this commotion. I came and got you. As he and I are talking, I hear screaming. Real fucking brutal screaming coming from the building above my store. So as soon as I heard that, I just ran. I ran right into the fucking building and started climbing the stairs, going up to where I thought the sound was coming from. It was the top floor, the fourth floor, and as soon as I got to the door, I started banging on the door. I heard screaming, and then I heard like a muffling of the screaming, so it stopped. My buddy that was outside and came and got me ran up with me. I kicked the door in. As soon as I kicked the door and it opened, a little girl was like mostly undressed, came running into my arms and just grabbed me, right? As soon as she grabbed me, she was shaking and fucking hysterical, and I took her and I handed her to my friend and I said, take her downstairs to the store and take care of her. Because I saw that there was a guy inside. I understood what was happening now. So as soon as my friend takes her, now it's just me and this one fucking guy. This Spanish guy. Soon as he started talking, he started telling me, he tried to get past me. He's like, oh, this is a big misunderstanding. Me and him started fighting. The second that happened, I fucking grabbed him, threw his ass on the wall, and we started fighting. He was drunk as fuck and hooking off on me, trying his best to hit me with these fucking Hail Mary fucking punches he was throwing. As we're fighting, he told me, he said, me and you can fix this shit. Me and you can fix this, right? So we tumbled down a couple flights of stairs, actually, because he was trying to get away from me before he made that comment to me. So I'll just tell the story in order. We tumbled down these stairs and shit, and he's trying to get past me, and I'm afraid to hurt this guy. Because keep in mind, again now, I'm not that far out from having been released from prison. I'm just off of parole. The last shit I want is blood on my hands, but at the same time, I want to kill this motherfucker. I literally wanted to and was capable of killing him. I believe it justified for what he was trying to do. When I walked in, just so you guys understand what was happening, this guy was about to rape this girl. He was on top of her, literally about to rape her. All right? We tumble down these stairs and shit. He gets up and tries to slide past me. I had him against the wall. And I remember I'm fucking choking his ass against the wall. And that's when he told me, he said, me and you could fix this. Me and you could fix this. I have a lot of money and I'll give it all to you. He's telling me this shit in Spanish. Reeks like fucking liquor and alcohol. Drunk out of his mind. When he told me that, I remember I wanted to fucking end his life right there. I squeezed his fucking throat so much harder. And I told him, I said, the best thing that ever fucking happened to you is that the cops are already on their way here. Because if they weren't, me and you fixing this by myself, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck I want. But it means you die today, motherfucker. At my hands, you fucking die. That's me and you fixing this shit. So these cops are about to fucking save your life. And a couple minutes went by. It felt like a long time, like 10, 15 minutes, before I heard my buddy, the same guy who took the little girl, open the hallway door where this guy was trying to wrestle to get past me to exit from. And he told me the cops are here. So I was like, all right. So I took the guy and basically escorted him out where there was a bunch of cops waiting for him now. As soon as that happened, and you guys know from my history, I'm not good with cops. So I'm already uncomfortable with the situation as it is that I had to put my hands on this guy. And now there's cops here, and a bunch of them. And I'm not liking it. So I let go of him. The cops tried grabbing him, tried handcuffing him, and he started fighting with them. Started fucking swinging at them, going crazy. My same friend that was there, I don't know if he made a move to go grab the guy, but he went towards the guy, and the guy fucking headbutted my friend right in his eye. Fucked up his eye. So I don't know why these cops weren't using more force or whatever. It might have been because there was a big crowd of people out there. But this went on and on where he's fighting with these guys, and they're not able to fucking handcuff him. And like I said, he was drunk as hell. So he had that drunk strength where nothing was really hurting him. So in my mind right away, I'm thinking, all right, stay the fuck out of it. Don't touch this guy. But at the same time, I don't like what's happening because I wanted to fucking kill this guy. And now he's fighting with these cops. This is the one time in my life where I'm glad these cops are here and good for them, that they're about to do something right and take this piece of shit out of here. So I let it go on for what felt like a couple minutes. They were not able to handcuff this guy. He just headbutted my friend. After he headbutted my friend, I fucking got angry, and I just went and grabbed him, and I picked him up, lifted him over my head, and fucking smashed his ass down, right on the fucking concrete, head first, right on the sidewalk, and his head just splattered. And blood started leaking everywhere, and the cops handcuffed him and took him in the car and got him out of there. So the girl now was in my store, right? So I went in and made sure she was okay. They got her some clothes, and she was so fucking afraid and shaking and alone and didn't know what to do and begged me to go with her to the police department because the police needed to take her. She's very afraid. She didn't have her mother around. She has nobody around. And she's 12 years old. So, of course, I shut down everything and I went. I go to the police station with her, and again, I'm not very comfortable there, but I'm there for the right reason now. So I told them my story before anything even happened, before the cops ever started asking me any questions. I told them, listen, once they asked me my name, just so you guys are aware, I don't want there to be any surprises. I'm an ex-convict, recently out of prison, recently off parole, and I have a shit ton of fucking crazy charges that you're about to see when you put my name in that computer, just so you know. And I told him that, gave him all the information as to what happened and everything, and stayed with the girl. It was a couple hours. I stayed with her, ended up going back, meeting with her family. Her family was notified. They came, and a lot happened after. I ended up giving some money to the girl's mother that same day because I realized that she told me and explained to me that this guy was only there in that apartment. They actually had a tiny apartment where they created a small sheetrock wall and subdivided it to get rental income because they couldn't afford where they were living. They're very poor. So they're renting this room out to this guy, and instead of going to work, he stays home and gets drunk and breaks into the other side of the apartment and tries to rape this girl. So I gave her some money, and the girl and I became, very good friends in time. So that's a different story. She's still part of my life now. She's actually my goddaughter. I became godfather to her, and we have a very, very special relationship. I love her very, very much, and I'm happy, that I was able to help her that day. But going back to the actual incident, I was kind of nervous in the police station, and when I realized that the cops were not interrogating me, they're not suspicious of me in any way. I lowered my guard a little bit, and I relaxed a little bit. And I told him, I'm like, look, I thought you guys were going to fuck with me about this guy being bloodied up like he is. And they told me, listen, honestly, we can't take his picture right now because of how he is. But the truth is, had he come in much, much worse, nobody would have said nothing to you. Not only nobody would have said nothing to you, but on top of that, we all look at you as a fucking hero. Because what you did there, none of us would have done. This is a lieutenant who came in and told me this. He said, none of my guys would have done that. Had one of them been there, hearing that screaming on the outside of that door, they would have never gone in that door, even though they had their guns with them. Because they are trained to wait for backup and assume that behind that door, there's a fucking shotgun waiting to blast them. So they told me if it wasn't you, that girl would have been raped. Even one of our own guys wouldn't have saved her the way you did, with a gun on them. So, when they told me that, I told them, listen, please, I was so concerned about hurting this guy. I want to fucking hurt him bad. Please, open up that cell. Just give me fucking 3 minutes with him in that cell. Please. I was begging them now. 3 minutes in the fucking cell. 90 seconds. And they all laughed and said, obviously we can't do that. So we're not going to do that. That's crazy. But what they did tell me was, if you have any problem, if there's anything that you need in this township with your business, with anything personally, you always have us on your side. And one of the top ranking officers gave me his card and told me, you call me personally if there's ever any issue, anything you need. And they respected what I did. And I appreciated that a lot. I made another video where someone asked me how I feel about cops. This is an instance where I really respected the way they handled this. They could have done, they could have done it differently. They could have made a problem for me. They could have not, talked to me and thanked me in the way that they did, but been assholes to me. So I respected a lot how that took place and that we were cool with each other. I ended up pressing charges on the guy, the first time in my entire life, because that's against my code. I don't press charges on people for shit. But I pressed charges on him, and I had my friend press charges on him also for assault, just to try to pack on as much time as we could with this guy. Because again, remember, for me, and had this been another time prior, had this been before I went to prison, this guy never would have lived. Never. Fuck prison charges, this never. He would have fucking ended. So in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, I'm not going to end him. He's still going to fucking live and be free, but let's try to put him away for as much as we can. Not only that, but ultimately I ended up working with the prosecutor's office and fought them because they only wanted to give him 3 years. And I was fucking pissed about that. And it was because of the technicality that he didn't actually rape her. And I'm fucking arguing with them saying, you dumb fucks, had I not been there, he was about to, seconds away. What difference does it make? He's a fucking predator. And he was attacking a child. So he ended up getting, I think it was like a 5-year sentence with a stipulation. He didn't have to do the whole 5. I think he had to do 3. But with a stipulation that he was to be deported immediately after and never return to the country. And I insisted on that so the girl doesn't have, anything to worry about and ever seeing him again. I remember that night going home. My wife now was real worried about me because in all this chaos, I didn't even think to call her and tell her what's happening. So she wasn't there that day. She had some family function, a family gathering they have once a year, I think. And she was with her family. So she was calling the store the whole time to see how things were, to see how everything, was going with the opening. And I don't know who answered, whatever, but they told me he's at the police station. He's not even here. So she's fucking panicked, not knowing anything of what happened. So when I finally talked to her and calmed her down, her family were all concerned for me. I remember coming home that night and telling her, I said, this business, that I was so stressed about opening, I put so much thought in doing this whole thing. It took such a big build-up for me to get to this grand opening. It was a big risk. It was a lot of money. And the truth of it, after today, I don't give a fuck about none of it. None of it. It's every dollar that it cost me to open. If I lose and never get a return on, I'm okay with that. I would gladly have forfeited that much money to prevent that little girl or any little girl, any child, from being raped. So it just changed my whole mindset moving on. With regard to that business. I didn't really care anymore, and I felt like God put me there, and God is the one who basically had me change it to that Sunday so that I could be there. Another point that I forgot to mention, actually, when after I slammed the guy and the cops took him away, that same big crowd of people that was out there all started gathering around me and shit, patting me on the back and telling me how they had my back. Like, yeah, we had your back. I was about to run in there. I was about to grab the guy too and help you. Fuck out of here. I flipped out on these guys, and I remember screaming at everybody saying, none of you motherfuckers did shit. Don't any one of you motherfuckers go home and start telling some stories about some hero shit about what you did or what you were about to do. Because the truth is, none of you fucking moved. The only person that went in there with me was my friend here, my boy right here. That's it. Every one of you other motherfuckers are punks. So don't dare fucking say different. Don't tell me you had my fucking back. Don't tell me what you were about to do. You're fucking punks. All of them. Silenced. Anyway, what ended up happening with the girl, as I mentioned, she and I are very close, but, I remember at that time when she was still like 13 years old, we started spending time together with her family, my family, and her family with me on holidays and stuff, and for her birthday. And I remember when I became godfather to her, which she asked me to, and her family, of course, I told her that if she stayed out of trouble and continued doing well in school, when she graduated high school, I would get her a car. And that happened last year, and I actually got her first little car. I mean, it's not the best car in the world, but I did my best, and I'm so happy that she's doing well. And she and I are very, very close still. As I mentioned, I love her very much. So it's just one of those things where one of the few things in life that I can tell you guys about that I really feel good about. I really feel good like I didn't fuck up. I didn't do anything wrong. And I remember telling that friend, because that friend and I were in prison together also. I remember telling him that this is the first time that we've done something that we should feel proud about. We really did something good today, helping that little child. We really did. And I told him, I want you to think about that and feel good about what you did, running in behind me like that. And I need to do the same, because the truth is, there's so few things in life that we can look back on and say that, we were heroes to someone or we saved someone. So I just wanted to share this story with you guys. This is one of those things where I really felt like I was there for the right reason. And, going back to my life prior, I went through so much suffering and shit. And throughout most of my life, I always questioned and wondered why. Why me? Why am I going through this fucking garbage? And that day is one of those times where I understood. The reason I had to suffer the way I did was so that I can be built the way I need to be built to fucking run in there and not be a bitch motherfucker like these rest of these guys who are standing outside listening to screaming and shit. So I'm very blessed that I was able to be there, and I'm thankful to God for giving me the chance to save that girl. And of course, I'm not going to say her name, but if she ever watches this, I love you very much, always. Thank you guys for watching this.